What is up, everybody? Say hi, and if I can pronounce your name, which, 90% of you I can't, I will do so. What's up, Basil, Sam Nan, yes, Sam Nan, Fernando, Mohammed, SB, Basad, UNS Storm, what's up? People from the DevEd server, Martin, what's up? Yo, JVS. Hey, JVS, by the way, were we still going to do that coding thing for my project? The relaunch of designcourse.com? I've been kind of dragging my feet on getting that stuff up. Mustafa, Jasper, Marco. All right. We're going to give this a minute before we start so we can let people filter in. Wow, we had like almost 100 people waiting. All righty. All right, so might as well get starting because we're going to do this for about an hour. And this is the live UI UX review. Now, I've called the show the negative space because that's a play on Whitespace. It's a UI design fundamental. But today I think I'm going to come down hard, like I'd mentioned in the chat earlier, on bad design. So if you have something that's bad about your design, I might make you cry, but ultimately I'm going to make you help. I'm going to help you, rather. Shit. Anyhow, so for those of you who are new to this, here's how it works. You click on the YouTube description. You click on the Discord link, you join up, and if it's your first time joining, you'll be thrust into the roles section. All these other channels will be locked, so you have to react to one of these, all right? Although my mod did say that somebody, or hopefully this is still working. Anyhow, hopefully it is working. Anyhow, so then once you do that, you will be able to code the feedback, and that's where you paste your URL for your UI design of some sort. I will do logo design reviews and stuff like that, but mainly this is UI UX reviews. And so you could paste a URL to like a Figma prototype, Adobe XD prototype, a real live website, or just like a static, JPEG mockup or whatever. And I will review it here. I will ask those in the chat to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I'll do my own rating. And yeah, that's what we do. We just go one by one as in the order they were received. I announced this 2 hours ago, so we already have a lot of submissions. I won't get through all of them. If you absolutely do want me to get through your submission, you can click on the super chat button here in YouTube underneath the chat. It's not showing up for me because I can't super chat myself, unfortunately. And you click on it, you enter some amount. It doesn't, the higher the better, honestly, financially for me. But you can enter any amount and then mention your Discord username after you submitted it here. And then my admin, JVS, who is right here, will let me know. And you'll get thrust to the beginning of the queue, so you don't have to wait. That's it. All right, so let's get... I disabled the anti-spam check for today since it didn't work. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so where's the first one? Okay. Start submissions below. So the first one is from Kavribrav01. Okay. Hello there. This is my first UI design for a concept agency. So the very first UI design ever? Perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Let's check this out. This is on Behance. Let's click on this. Wow. I'm not going to probably review all of this, but yeah, let's get started here. What do I think? All right, we got some strong drop shadow here. I kind of like the background watermark photograph here. That it contrasts well. It's a nice color. Let's see what else is happening here. Pretty good white space throughout. The cards here, pretty solid. I don't really like the letter spacing on the names. I would like to condense that down. Things seem a little bit large, but then again, we are dealing with just like a JPEG-based mockup. It's not responsive. Yeah, there's nothing really that's too wrong that's happening here. Yeah, I really don't have much of a problem with this. There's not one thing that stands out as being, wow, that's really wrong. I think there is a decent amount of use of borders, maybe a tad bit too much. Like the logo up here, I'm not too sure if I like that white border. But again, I'm splitting hairs here because, yeah, and there's borders up here. I'm not too sure if I like those borders. Borders are usually something that we avoid for the most part. Like this still isn't too bad. But the thing is, with these thick borders, it kind of does distract away from the content itself, the type-based content, and the call to actions. But anyhow, pretty solid. What do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. I'm not going to look at your answers. I'll give you 10 seconds to answer in the chat, and then I'll give my rating on a scale of 1 to 10. What am I going to give this? Let's see here. I'm going to give this a... Yeah, it's 6.9, I think. It's very close to 7, possibly a 7. What did you guys say? 888-974. All right, looks like I was slightly under most people. But it's still, it's not, there's not one thing that's really wrong. Most of the fundamentals were really knocked out pretty decently here. All right, let's continue on. Wesley, who is next? And what is this? Music app I've been designing. I would love some general feedback. No need to go into every page deeply because that would take too much of your time. Yeah, of course it would. Yeah. There are a lot of pages here. Okay, let's do this. All right. Can I hit play on these and see what happens? What if I wanted to do this one? I'm just going to check out these in this way. I'm not going to be in like the actual prototype mode. So this is definitely pretty unique. Signify, listen to music editor, start listening. This is a little bit cluttered up here in this area. Like I would probably remove this line, make the start listening button call to action bigger. You have the emphasis placed on the type, you know, or the logo, which you don't want. But I reversed the importance there in terms of scaling this button up bigger, moving these things down just a bit, the actual social media icons. Looking at this though, I really like this design. It's pretty solid. I like the colors as well. Everything's pretty solid here. Let's check out, let's go back here. Here's the actual app, it looks like. This is pretty good, pretty unique sort of layout. All the UI design fundamentals are pretty much there that I see. There's good white space. Visual hierarchy for the most part looks good. Yeah, this is pretty solid. Just gonna check out a couple of these other ones, see what's happening. Yeah, not bad. What do you guys think this person should get for a rating? Well, I guess we'll just probably make this the main page. Signify. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let me know what you guys think. This is definitely higher up there. I'm going to rate this one a... Shoot. Did the wrong damn button over here. Hold on a second. I'm going to rate it a 7.7. 7.8. Yeah, that's what I'm going to rate it. pretty solid. It looks like you guys pretty much are agreeing. Yep. All right. We got a super chat. This is a website prototype for a design and development agency, so it better be good. It better be good. We're just starting out and currently developing the website. Any feedback on this prototype will be appreciated. All right, let's check it out. It says, here's the whole prototype, but here's the landing page. Oh, well, let me see. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. You're going to help my alcohol habit, especially during this pandemic, because I've been drinking every night, probably about 3 to 4 shots of vodka. Anyhow, all right. I want to see what the other link was. Like, what is this? Here's the landing page. Oh, okay. I'd rather check this one out because it's an actual... Yeah, it's actually there. Okay. All right. Now, see this, I like this one better than this one because this one, everything seemed to be a little bit too close, it seemed like, but this one, everything's spread out more, which is the benefit of it actually being a real project in the browser, so it could be responsive. I have to say, I like the color scheme, but there's a lot happening with the colors all at once. I'm not really sure exactly where I should be focusing on initially, like within a split second of looking at the site. We have a strong call to action up here. We have a pretty big, vibrant logo as well. And then we have these same colors here as well. And then a lot of these colors are mixed in are over here. And then we have a large range of services right here. I would probably scale this one down just because on this resolution, at least, I'm able to see it. And it's kind of competing for the attention of my eye. So I would probably scale this sub heading down, probably like an H2 element, scale it down a little bit more so that this really stands out on its own in this section. Because this right here, this hero section, is the most important element. Outside of that, there's nothing like really, really wrong happening. It's just kind of like a visual hierarchy issue. Second to that, okay, these cards, they're nice design. I like the subtle shadow with them, but having all of these elements like low design, comma, visual identity, these are like bullet pointed lists, or it should be kind of like in a list format that makes it more easy to read. These are kind of just a big old clump of, unreadable because they're all separate ideas separated by commas. So I would change that as well. I like the icons, very solid icons though. Right here we kind of have an issue. It's a little bit cluttered. On this resolution, we could stand to separate things out more vertically when it comes to this section versus this section. So I'm talking about the top of this heading and the bottom of this section, not enough white space there. So we want to improve that. But yeah, I really like the colors here, especially in this area. Very good separation of the sections here. Quite good. Again, just not enough white space between the sections. Tiny right there, but we have all this right here. Spread them out. It's going to help big time. Other than that, very solid, yeah. What do you guys think this person should get? I'm going to say well, I'm not going to tell you yet. We're going to say between 1 and 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let me know. You got 10 seconds. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. For this, I'm going to give it a 7.5. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. It was just had a lot of clutter issues and issues with hierarchy. So outside of that, very solid though. All right, next up is another super chat. I think we got like 2 more. Super chat 2. All right, hey Gary, please give me your feedback for these 2 pages I designed for a digital marketing agency. It's still not finished, and I'd like to have your feedback in order to complete it and put it online. All right, check it out. This is a digital marketing agency. All right. All right, let's see here. Coming down, I'm just gonna scroll through a little bit just to get an idea of what is happening here. All right, so they're taking a very simple approach to the design, which is fine. A lot of it is good here, but the one thing that left me wanting a little bit more was just this section right here. We could see that there's two columns, essentially. We have a column defined by the left start of the logo and the left of this navigation. So there's a column here, but we have this big empty space, and I understand they wanted to start this type or this headline right here in this column. And so this all looks good right here, but then we have this element down here, and it's kind of sitting in the middle, a little bit offset to the left of this first blank column. So we have something starts here, then another thing starts here, and then another thing starts here. It's breaking the flow of the layout. So what I would probably do in this case, well, there's multiple things you could do, really. You could center this, because this seems to be centered right here. Or you could push this and start it right here instead. But other than that, looking at these different sections where you have the label in this own column over here, which again, this column's defined all the way down here. This is fine. This is fine. So benefits right here, services right here. Good white space between the type. There's a lot of type-based content here, but it doesn't feel like it's spaced improperly. The alignment is pretty solid. Yeah, these are all, although it looks like there's a weird border, like a grayish border. Very subtle though. But yeah, I pretty much like this. Not too sure about this one being offset down and pushing this. It's a little bit disorganized. But yeah, other than that, quite solid, I have to say. I've been getting pretty good submissions so far to this point. I haven't had to rip anybody a new one. All right, so what do you guys think? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What should they get? I don't think the logo needs to be bigger. The logo's fine. If anything, it might be too big. Again, I feel like we're going to rate this pretty similar. So I'm going to say a 7.5. That's what I'm thinking. 4. Hey, Raj Deer, whatever your name is, don't spam the YouTube chat. You get muted. All right. All right. Pretty much. Okay. We have another super chat. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that super chatter was just paying me money. Drink on my behalf too, because South Africa, all liquor stores are closed. That's ridiculous. That is disgusting. That's abhorrent. Why would they do that? Now there's going to be a bunch of businesses going out of yeah, because alcohol consumption is way up massively all around the world. Anyhow, all right. Who is next? All right, we got 5. No, let's go up. Now I have to find my place based on where I was. Okay, yeah, this is the next one. Let's do it. It's going to show up in here. A Discord bot. You know, in my Discord server, I get so many people asking me about my Discord bot tutorial I made like a long time ago. I'm like, no. That's the only time I ever mess with Discord bot. I'm no Discord bot expert. All right. So what did they say about this? It's a work in progress, so it's only a layout wireframe. So anything aesthetics wise are not fine. What's your feedback layout? Okay, all right. So this is going to be more of like a UX review here, because this is more meant to be a wireframe. Thus, you know, the fact that it seems monochromatic and grayscale and all that, which is fine. Because I could say this is all way too cluttered, but that's a UI design critique, and that's not what they want. So let's look at the other UX based considerations. Strong call to action up here. A Discord bot, all right, that you will love. Okay, so the primary call to action is pretty big here. That's fine. Create fun and amazing experiences for your Discord users with tons of features and commands. Okay, but so you're addressing what it is right up front, which seems good. Features. All right, so that is probably what a person would want to know about in terms of what an actual Discord bot does. Yeah, a bunch of commands here. If they are you would definitely want to increase the size of that, obviously, in the end. About us, social media, get in touch. One thing in terms of UX about these underlined only text fields, they generally say to stay away from that. You kind of want to make sure that the whole rectangular area is discernible from the background it's sitting on and not just an underline. But yeah, this looks pretty solid. You're addressing, and in terms of the layout and the structure, it's fine. I don't see anything wrong here. But yeah, once you actually get this done as a full high fidelity mockup, you can resubmit it and we'll see how it turned out. All right, what do you guys think they should get a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Yes. I just bought a iPad Pro, the latest 4th generation, 12.9 inch, and my Apple Pencil's coming tomorrow. Very exciting. Okay. For this one, it's unfinished largely, but for what it is, it's pretty solid. So I'm just gonna give it a 7. I'm getting kind of disappointed because everybody's just submitting pretty good work, and I haven't had a chance to have fun and to really just help somebody as much as possible. All right. I guess that's a testament to people finally learning and maybe getting better at design. Super Chat 4, check it out. Salmonan. All right, let's check it out. Seems like just one artboard prototype sort of thing happening. All right. All right. I'm just going to scroll down here. 13 years old. Can you imagine that? 13. I think when I got into development and design and stuff, actually, I kind of got into creating Doom 2 levels back in the late 90s. That was my first introduction to computers, and I was probably 11 or so. But then I got into creating AOL punters, progs as they were called, or progs, using Visual Basic. But yeah, anyhow, I'm digressing. Yeah, very good. Keep up working. A lot of people think 13, 12, it's too young. Nope. You're going to save yourself a lot of money. You're not going to have to go to college and all that crap. Very good. Okay, so let me keep on. I do have some critiques about this, but I'm just scrolling down a little bit more just to see what's happening here. All right. The one thing that I think is an issue here is everything seems just a tad bit too dark. All right. So, for instance, this photograph right here, which is like, I don't know, is that you hanging out on some rocks or something? And this, I don't know, sort of like a galaxy picture? Probably not. It's pretty dark, and it's almost indiscernible from the background it's sitting on, right? Because there's a lot of the same colors. So if you're going to have an element like this, like a photograph, which down here, I don't know what this is, I would get rid of that. You will want it to contrast at least a little bit more with the background that it's sitting on. All right. Second, projects. This call to action. it seems a little bit too dark. Yeah, you can still see it, but I would like to see that bumped up more in terms of the saturation and brightness, just so it stands out much more. You can keep the same color, but make it stand out a lot more. Next up, this section right here just seems a little bit too drab. Again, it's a lack of color saturation right here. You can go ahead and plus also these little these elements in the background that you have, they seem just a little bit too random, if that makes sense. Usually when you have those blobs or whatever, they're a little bit more finessed. We have like this strong right edge right here, and then it comes down. It doesn't seem like it flows very well. I understand what you're going for, but so I probably changed that as well. This one's a little bit better over here. So coming down, looking at this, my skills, I would probably like to see a little bit more of a different approach on this. Ideally, you would probably, I would scale these down, each of these icons, and next to the icon actually, through type, mention what it is. Because not every client's going to know what the hell this stuff is. So like HTML5, Angular, Google Firebase, Firestore, whatever. You're going to want to mention those as well. In software I use, I don't even know what these two are, honestly. Because they're probably Apple products. That's why. So, just mention what they are. This section over here is not too bad. I'm not sure why there's a line right here. That's kind of annoying me. Now, notice there's not a lot of white space between these elements. Vertical white space. Separate these sections out more because they're really almost on top of each other. Pretty much the same comments with that section up here too. All right, so that's my review. Pretty solid, 100% solid for a 13-year-old. Jesus. All right, very good. So what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. And also, hopefully it goes without saying that you're not copying layouts from people. I think copying is a good exercise just to be an exercise, but not to use in real projects. It does help to build and solidify muscle memory. All right, I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but for 13 years old, it's pretty solid. All right, I'm gonna give this a 6.8. Yeah, 6.8. Could be a 7. But I'm not judging it based on it being a 7-year-old. I'm just saying objectively, I don't care what age somebody did, 6.8 to 7 or so. All right, thank you for the super chat. Next up. All right. Super chat 5. I created this design for software dashboarding and onboarding. Please let me know what you think. All right, I will. All right. What is happening? Whoa. Wow, okay. So let's just refresh this. Or not. Damn it. Go back. Where's that first freaking page? There it is. So this section, I'm not too sure what's happening here. I mean, it's one big clickable area, of course, just to bring you to the next page. But it does seem a little bit, we have a column started here with this type right here in the logo, and then this one starts right here. I'm not sure if I like that a lot because of this type. You could probably just get rid of this type right here and just keep the illustration, and that'd be a lot better. Also, hopefully you wouldn't just leave it like this because you need labels like what's your username, your password, sign in. Next up after this, we have some sort of logging thing or what do you call loading thing, and then we have this. Okay, so this Yeah, there's a lot happening here. Let's click that, see what happens. Yeah, so this right here, obviously this is a very content-heavy site that has a lot of, or a dashboard rather, that has a lot of requirements. Having said that, it does seem I would probably want to have a little bit more white space on the top of this section here, or instead of aligning these to, oh Christ, the center, I would probably get rid of these right here in the middle and just put them to the left, so that this starts here instead of there. And product tour, let's see here. The cards in the panels are all done quite well. Very subtle drop shadows. You know, usually I've seen, we'll smooth that off there. I've seen that in the past, people getting drop shadows way wrong, but nobody's done the drop shadows wrong so far. So very, very cool to see that people are actually kind of wising up to that. So yeah, this is pretty solid for a dashboard design in and of itself. So what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. For me, I will give this a... We've had quite solid. There hasn't been one really bad design. I was so, yeah, like amazed. That never happens. All right, I'm gonna give this a... This is just a solid 7. Yeah, solid 7 in my opinion. Very good. All right, next up. All right. Now I have to find my place because we have a million entries that I have to get to. Let's see here. There we go. All right, I think that's the next one in line. By the way, so far, thanks for the super chats. Is it just me or did I already review this one? All right. So, okay, this right here, this dude is boring. It's very bland. It doesn't contrast well with the background it's sitting on. Like you can see this darker, this leg, and like it's just like it hurts your eyes because there's not enough contrast. It's very strange. And he has no fingers, so he's like a flipper boy. You don't want a flipper boy. So get rid of that completely. Figure out something else that you can do that's a little bit better. Next up, nobody cares about your name. Nobody cares about your name. Your potential clients, the last thing on their mind is what your name is. They want to know what you can do. So where you say a UI plus graphic designer, front-end developer based in New Delhi, while that is better than your name, it's a lot better than your name, you should be emphasizing that part more. But still, that's not ideal. When it comes to ad copy, you want to emphasize, like I always say, benefits over features. A feature is the fact that you're a UI graphic designer and a front-end developer. That's a feature. And also a feature is New Delhi. A feature is your name. You haven't given any incentive in terms of why they should hire. How are you going to benefit them? You say, well, I'm going to benefit them because I'm a UI graphic designer. No, that's a feature. So you need to research better ad copy. All right. So also the color scheme's not horrible, but it's a little bit tough to read when this sentence here has about 5 different colors in it. Next up over here, we have a big wall of text next to all this other vertical text, and it's all colorized. This over and then this illustration, it's all clumped together. You need room to breathe. Your different UI elements need room to breathe. And so you don't have that. So you're lacking white space here. Next up after this, see, like, look at this arc right here. It's not a nice perfect circle, and it doesn't flow very well. You can see there's multiple anchor points that were added here, and they're all just kind of flimsy and floppy, and it just looks, it makes the design look cheap. So you remove that element. Yeah. So I would really work on maybe trying to get, you probably didn't design these yourself. You probably used them from maybe like some sort of like humans UI kit or something like that. I would probably work on getting ones that are a little bit better, or at least applying them a little bit better. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. All right, lavish dude, don't do that. We're gonna put you in a timeout, bro. Yeah, you're timed out. All right. Yes, I agree with JVS. I'm gonna say this one deserves a 4. Yeah, 4. Yep. Pretty solid. Solid 4. All right, keep at it. I like the type though. Really, you know, the type is good. What is that, Montserrat? Oh, yes. All right. All right, my monitor brand. Samsung, I forget what these are. There's 2 monitors here. I have a Cintiq 22 HD tablet over here. Yeah. All right. Who's next? After that is this one, Armage. All right, we got some issues. Let us check it out though. We got some scroll-based activated animations. All right. Okay, so the first problem here is I don't know where I'm supposed to look. And that's because you have a high contrast photograph in the background here. And this is taking this little, like, what do you call this, a collage, whatever, mural thing on the wall. I mean, there's so much stuff happening here. And there's tons of different colors. So that's taking my attention immediately. But the attention really needs to be on this stuff right here, the headline. So there's multiple ways you can go about this. You can really take the background and make it darker. You can do that in Photoshop, or you can do that with CSS. It's up to you. And then this stuff will naturally come to the forefront. So that's the biggest thing. Check availability also gets lost because it's almost the same color as this color at the wall. We see this color all over. So you want that to stand out more. Now next up over here, this is a little bit, it's cluttered. You have really big cards here. You could scale these down. Like, look how big the See More is. Like, that button's just very large. And then you have the See More button is the same color as the background here. And you don't have much white space between each of these 4 cards. And so you have this sort of, you know, interesting background here, this area, and it's just too cluttered. So what I would do is take these and scale them down 3 times the size of what they are, and just give them more white space between them. This part's not too bad. I would probably make this a little bit bold here, make this slightly larger, push it down slightly more line height. You can fill out this area a little bit more. This, of course, is an issue because some of your text is getting lost over here. Same comments with this section because it's similar to the above. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. We have 395 people watching. It's pretty solid, especially for a holiday. For this one, I'm going to give a... Yeah, I'm thinking around a 5, maybe 4.5 or so. It seems like you guys are rating them lower. Maybe I was being too nice. Although, dude, don't do that. Time out. All right, I'll check out Super Chat number 2 again. They want me to look at more pages. I'll do that really fast. Very fast, in fact. Well, where are all the other pages right here? Services. All right, so looking at this, consistent with the layout, with the two-column layout, because we already reviewed this one. This is looking solid. Like I said, it's a very type-heavy page. And, yeah. This is the only 2 pages I see, though. So I don't really have anything to add, because it's very similar to the first one, actually. So, yeah, because none of these I can click on or anything. So, solid stuff. Super Chat 6. Let's do this one. Is it this one? Let me go back. It's at Swift. Okay. Thank you for the Super Chats, by the way. We're at 41 minutes. We'll be doing this for about 19 more minutes. All right. Okay, let's see. Overall, I'd have to say it's pretty solid. One thing that's it's getting lost up here, we can see we have a 2-row navigation / header. So we have one up here and then one right here, and they are slightly separated in terms of color. This one's slightly lighter, but there's still not quite enough contrast for my liking. So it makes it look a little bit cluttered. I think if you maybe made it a few shades lighter of a gray for this background, you would have a better separation between these sort of containers. That would help. I like the logo, very good logo. Right here, pretty safe area. Seems like the type of light treatment that's been placed on this right here is kind of dulled a little bit. You might want to make it darker than what it currently is, but increase the contrast slightly. But other than that, that's like a minor critique. This right here, these sections seem to be equal white space between the top and the bottom, top, bottom. So that's all pretty solid. This type right here is going to verge on just the edge of being not enough contrast. So I would check that out. Make sure you're at least getting the WCAG AA rating here for the contrast based on this light gray and this mid gray color here. This is probably pretty. This would pass it because it's a white background here in this container. But yeah, it seems safe, standard, nothing too crazy. It seems to work pretty well. I presume these are call to action buttons. You might want to introduce color here instead. Like this orange color, orangish yellow color. That could work well here to really separate itself from these other 2 pieces of type. Other than that, solid. What do you guys think for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I'm going to give this a... Yeah, this is just a solid 7. A solid 7, 7, a solid 7. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that works well. All right, thank you for the super chat. Super chat 7 for design. Ignore the footer white space. All right, we will ignore the footer white space. We got animation. We got a woman floating on a screen. Let's go ahead and refresh that. Yeah, I'm not too certain about that illustration here. Having said that, if you are going to keep it, at this viewport, I would increase the size just a little bit. So we can see we have an issue here, like a tablet size. She's kind of getting hidden in there. I would change that up a bit. So, like, at this resolution, you're going to want to increase the size, at least of this type right here, and definitely the call to action. It's just a little bit too small. Now, also your alignment between these three elements is off. World do you dream of exists? It's real. It's yours. What? All right. Well, whatever. Maybe English isn't your first language. You would want to move this up a little bit more and move the call to action down more. All right. So these are kind of reversed in terms of how the white space should be applied. Next up, I like this color. I like this font. It's probably Montserrat again. Let's see. Is it? Yes, it is. All right. I like this subheading right here. This is all really solid right here, this whole section. You'd probably want to increase the size of each of these just a bit. Looking at this next section. Okay, so there's a lack of visual hierarchy between these type elements. So just to show you what I would do, we're going to take this font weight bold, and also probably margin bottom 1em it just a bit. So now this looks a lot better than how the other ones are styled, because they're separated more. So take that into consideration. Pretty heavy on the drop shadow. It's a big, large, spread, feathered drop shadow. And especially with this color, this mid-gray, which I would never go mid-gray. Never go. Yeah, and then yeah, that's coming from Tropic Thunder, by the way. Never go mid-gray like this, where you have an illustration sitting on top of it that's colored. It doesn't contrast well. So these ones are pretty okay. Like this one, but not this one. So lighten up that drop shadow too. About Us, I don't know about that. I would just get rid of the labels. Just have this, talk about your business, maybe make it a little bit larger, but just get rid of About Us. It's just unnecessary. The contact is not necessary too. People know this is a contact section right here, this label. So, or what you could do is put contact here in this column and align it so that it starts right here on this level, if you know what I mean. The size of the labels are a little bit small in terms of the type, and also space it out a little bit more. All right. So what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. See, this just seems like, looking at this resolution, it's kind of larger. It's just like, it seems like things are too small right here. And they need to fill out the space a little bit more. I'm going to rate this one a 6.5. Yes, Isaac and I are, oh yeah, and also Sahil, all thinking about the same rating essentially. All right, we are at 49 minutes. We'll do this for 10 more minutes. All right. Now I got to find my space again. Oh, I already did that one. All right, here's the next one. All right, let us see. Okay. All right, so we have some issues here. First of all, the navigation being right aligned with all this white space between each individual element is just too much. Now, of course, it's good here on mobile, but when you keep that same sort of percentage that's applied to these elements, it becomes way too large. So use a media query to reset those, probably to like a fixed width padding, like using mutants or something like that. Your call to action button, this contact button, that's not ideal, especially when it's smaller at 100%. You can barely see the contact type because it doesn't contrast well enough with the lighter blue in the gradient. Now, again, nobody cares about your logo. Nobody cares about your name. Nobody cares about your features. So I would say just using all this great space, you have one impression to make, and that's what's traditionally been called above the fold or the hero section, and you're just putting your logo there. This doesn't tell me anything about what the hell's happening or what this site's about. So a lot of people will just click off. So put your logo up here in the upper left, reduce the white space between these elements, and really use this area for good ad copy, a good headline, maybe a sub headline, and a call to action to really address what this is. Next up, too much type. A lot of people aren't probably going to sit here and read all this type. So for these 4 columns, I would reduce it to maybe this amount, and then maybe a learn more button or something like that, because people don't like to read a lot. They just don't. Same thing with this. All this being in its massive span, for one, it's probably too much type, and also for 2, like, I'm gonna get whiplash trying to read all this stuff, especially on like a 4K monitor. Next up over here, again, try to avoid just underlines only. Try to, really maybe make the backgrounds white. I'll show you what that looks like. You can leave here, let's just do this one. So now people are going to more easily be able to identify that this is a type area, and it's not just, see, because when you just use like a thin sort of border at the border bottom of the text field, some people think they're line separators. They don't know they're freaking areas that you could type them in, So, your grandma who might want to hire you, or somebody's grandma might want to hire you, they're not going to be able to contact you because they're just, they're simple. They're simple. All right. This section over here is pretty good. All right. What do you think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst ever, and the 10 being the best ever. Actually, UI design fundamentals aren't horrible, although there's just too much white space here. The main thing is probably UX considerations. This is way too much type. But again, that's not really a UI design thing. That's a UX thing. So I like this section over here. This is pretty good. This is designed pretty well. But factoring the UX as well, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5.4. Yeah. Which it seems like you guys, for the most part, are agreeing. All right. 423 people watching. Oh, that's nice. Okay, yeah, let's do this. All right. Who's up next? All right, buddy. Let's do this. All right. First off, boring. Boring and very bland. A professional programmer and web developer. So you're not, let's see your skills. Professional web developer, HTML, CSS, outstanding, blah, blah, blah. C and C++. All right, so you're not a designer. All right, so it's commendable that you've put this together, perhaps yourself. But this right here, it just seems that there's a complete lack of properly utilizing this space. Let's check out the responsive. So what I would rather see instead of just this in your picture view, and again, I don't want to be a broken record, but we have the same issue here. You have your name real big. We have your feature down here really small. The picture view, it's just kind of bland. So I would probably omit the picture in your about section or whatever. You could put a picture of yourself if you wish, but I wouldn't put it here. Put your name right here as kind of like a logo, you know, like a word mark. And so then that frees up a good section here to where you can give them first a feature and then maybe as a subheadline a benefit. You can first give them a benefit and then as a subheadline you can give them a feature, which is a professional programmer and web developer. And you can really take these buttons and beef them up a little bit. To make them a little bit better. Now next up, we have an about section, skills, work. I might want to put I guess it's not too much of a big deal, but I'm thinking in terms of your information architecture, you want to probably emphasize your work more so than about and skills. Because if I was an employer, I'd rather see work first. But again, there's not a lot here anyways. You scroll down. But the cards are a little bit strange. You have the photo, you have the preview of the project here in the thumbnail, but what takes the attention away from that more is this dark blue color. So that's why, so you want the attention to be on the photographs instead of here. So I would make these white, like this color right here, and then make this stuff black. Let me see. Let me try it real quick. There. Now we'll go ahead and take color black. That's better. You can also separate the cards out more by, let's see here. By giving this like a text shadow. Or not a text shadow, a box shadow. Although the way you've structured the HTML is kind of breaking it a little bit, so because we have, for some reason, 0.0, we'll do low. Well, it just should be like 0.08 or something, or 7. Something very subtle, but there's a little white space here, so it's making it look like worse. But yeah, that's what I would do instead of this right here. All right. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. We're gonna go ahead and give this one a 1. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you, man. His heart price sank. Yeah, I agree. Maybe like a 3, 3.5, you know, maximum 4. So yeah, yeah, definitely keep it up though. And so for those of you who, you know, are disappointed I gave you a rating that perhaps, you know, you're crying about it, or maybe it's lower than you would hope, go to scrimba.com, and my course released just 3 weeks ago It is on sale now. Normally 99 bucks. It is 39 bucks. It's about 9 hours worth of UI design goodness. So definitely check that out. This is sold probably over $50,000 worth, by the way. So there's hundreds of students all learning great stuff from my UI design bootcamp. It's going to show you, from the ground up, how to design user interfaces that are effective and good looking. All right. So, all right, that is going to be it. We are exactly at 1 hour and 23 seconds since the stream began. If I didn't get to you, I'm sorry. Perhaps next week I will do it. If not, definitely the week after. And just hang out in the Discord server. All that good stuff. And yeah, I am gonna be, I'm done, man. I am done. As a side note, I just bought this. Let's see here. My new shiny iPad Pro. I'm very excited because I already smudged the hell out of it. Because I've always liked. Let me get out my browser here. Let me go to dribble.com. I'm going to type in illustration. I've always wanted to do, or to be able to do, these sort of real illustrative UI designs from scratch. There's a few that are just freaking, like, I really like this one. Like, I want to be able to create characters like this from scratch, instead of using like an illustration, like not clip art, but you know what I mean, something that somebody else has already done. So I'm going to start getting into, especially with human forms. Drawing human forms is a difficult thing, and it's something that takes a lot of practice. So I bought that iPad Pro, and my pencil's coming tomorrow. And I'm going to start really focusing on illustration, trying to get my illustration game up. Like this is freaking awesome. Like, I want to be able to do that. And I want to be able to merge the UI designs with this stuff, and perhaps even animations and stuff like that. So I think it would be really cool to be able to do that. Anyhow, that's my story. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. Yeah. So, all right, guys. If you have any other comments or questions, maybe I'll hang out a tad bit more here. Okay, so Procreate, as I understand, for iPad is not vector. And so I kind of want to I'm going to get Procreate because I do like digital painting as well. But I'm probably going to stick with Affinity Pro and or Vectorator, I think it's called. So I want to do that for sure. Yeah, so Procreate can't export vector as far as what I've researched. But, you can't still do cool stuff. Everybody thinks if you have a website, everything has to be SVG. It's not true. You can still have like JPEGs and do some really cool things that you can't otherwise do with SVG. So I'm going to get Procreate as well for that purpose. I've done a Webflow tutorial or two. I've hardly ever used it outside of just using those, creating tutorials for that. So I need to look into it more. So I don't have much of an opinion on it. Honestly, because I forgot mostly what the hell it is. Right, I'm sure like when you can't learn drawing anatomy purely through vector. I mean, you probably could, I want to say, because I've been researching in the past few days, and I know one of the ways you learn is through gesture drawing, which are simple lines, which you could do. So it depends on, for me, I'm not trying to create high fidelity anatomies of people. Usually when it comes to the UI design illustrations that include people, they're more simplistic. All right, thank you very much, JVS. I'll get back to you soon. Off topic, bias amp for guitar. I have a Kemper profiler, which that thing cost me $2,500. So I'm always happy with the Kemper. You know what? I'm going to start learning. In fact, today, the Tornado of Souls solo, which is insane. It's going to take a long time. Can Figma using on the iPad Pro? I would imagine. Would you please make a video on how to become a full stack designer from home? You know what? That's funny you mentioned that, full stack designer, that term. Because I'm going to probably, my next video, I might talk about that exactly. I've been thinking about the last couple days. Like, what is a full stack designer? And so, without Googling it, because I've heard the term a few times, I want to put it into my own thoughts about what I think a full stack designer is. You have a full stack developer, and a lot of times full stack developer, there's several definitions. Some people think it means everything. Like, you have to be into identity design, you have to be into UI design, UX design, you have to be into graphic design, you have to be into back-end coding and all this stuff, which I don't think that really makes sense because it says developer, right? So I would say a full stack designer, I need to think about my thoughts on that. I would say definitely you have to do UI design, some UX as well. I would also say it would be helpful to have at least a basic understanding of HTML and CSS. That makes, I know that's a development side of things, but it helps, especially if you're going to say you're full stack, it helps to be a UI designer to know how your designs are going to be implemented. And that kind of will direct some of your design decisions. So that would make you a better designer. Also, a full stack designer would also be good at graphic design and illustration, and also identity design. All right, so my children are downstairs and they're starting to be loud, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and we'll see you guys next week with another video and perhaps another live stream. I need to find another sponsor for this. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye. Thank you for the super